Good morning and welcome to a very wet Crystal Palace Academy today. But the good news is the Eagle has landed on the dome. We've finally arrived. Everything is shaping up here now. They're just starting to tarmac everything. It's looking pretty cool. But there's a massive game today. It's Crystal Palace against West Bromwich Albion in the Under-18 Premier League. And here is the Crystal Palace team. In goal, number 1, Joe Whitworth. 2, Caden Rodney. 3, Teo Adaramola. 4, and captain, Aidan Steele. 5, Joe Sheridan. 6, Dan Quick. 7, David Omalabu. Number 8, Jack Wells-Morrison. 9, Victor Akinwale. 10, Malik Cadogan. And number 11, Jez Saki. So that's a Palace team today to take on West Brom in the final game of the season, and it is a massive game today. Obviously Palace are top of the league. Their game today against West Brom kicks off, as you know, 10:45 very soon, and after that Fulham will be playing at 12 o'clock. Now, if Palace win today, Fulham will need to win their game at 12 o'clock today against Norwich and their game against Chelsea next Saturday to win the league over Palace. So all we need to think about is getting a win today. If we draw, we need Fulham to fail to win in their last 2 games, and if we lose, I think we need similar. But all we care about is Palace winning today, and very soon we will have live commentary of the game with commentary from Will Robinson, co-commentary from Shaun, who managed the under-23s into the playoffs yesterday. So it's been a fantastic season for the Academy. But before that, let's hear from the under-18s manager Paddy McCarthy after the captain Aidan Steele. Paddy, last game of the season today. How is everyone going into it?
Yeah, obviously excited. 24 games, this is our 24th, so we're looking forward to the game. We know it's going to be a tough test. Every one of the games this season so far has been, and we expect today to be no different.
Off the back of a win against Brighton, Jack Wells-Morrison kissing the badge after one of the goals. You made sure all the players knew about the rivalry? Yeah, well, Jacko made sure everybody knew about the rivalry. We've got a good few Crystal Palace fans in this team as well, so adds that little bit of extra spice. They understand what this football club is about, and Jacko certainly showed his passion for not only the club but this team, with kissing the badge after a fantastic performance. So he spoke to the players, himself and Joe Whitworth, as Palace fans. They spoke to the players before the game and just let them know what it means to Crystal Palace when we do go and play our fierce rivals. But West Bromwich Albion today, final game of the season. You don't have to, I guess you guys don't worry about Fulham at all, anything that's going on. All you can do is win the game today. No, we can't control anything that goes on apart from what we do, so that's been our approach all season, and nothing will change today. We go out, we try and perform, we play on the front foot, we're aggressive in our style, and we see what happens at the end of it. So we can't control anything else other than what goes on the pitch. And finally, Shaun on co-commentary today. Pleased for him for getting into the playoffs, and also looking forward to people hearing his thoughts on football. Yeah, it's a fantastic achievement what the under-23 has done from the staff and the players. It's brilliant, and there's a real feel-good factor around the place, so just be nice to me today, Deza. Cheers, buddy. Right, cheers. Thanks. Aidan, final game of the season today against West Bromwich Albion. How are you and the boys feeling going into it?
I think feeling confident. I think we know if we perform and work as hard as we have over the past few weeks, we'll be able to get the result. So just need to keep working hard, and hopefully the result will take care of itself.
It's been an amazing run recently. Have you guys just been feeling so confident going into each game?
I think we have confidence in each other, and we have confidence that in the process that if we work hard and if we outwork the opposition, then the quality that we have will come through and the results will just come as well.
And is it quite nice, going into this one, knowing that you know all you need to do is win to be in the chance to win the league? There's nothing you can do about Fulham, is there?
Yeah, I mean, I think for last week or so we've just been focusing on ourselves. I mean, we can't take care of anything else, so the only thing we can do is just control how we train and how we perform, pretty much.
And whatever happens, it's been an incredible season, right?
Oh, I'd like to think so. I mean, I think we've come so far over the last 12 months, difficult 12 months, and I think no matter what, we'll be proud of ourselves. So we're just looking forward to the last game.
You have played for the under-23s. They're into the playoffs as well. Were you pleased watching that one yesterday?
Oh, definitely. I think they're a good group of lads, and I think they thoroughly deserve it. I think performed really well throughout the year, and hopefully they can get promoted.
Thanks, Aidan.
No problem. Thank you.
socket over there.
Nothing, mate. But it looks like it's just not working.
Yeah, 1 second.
Don't worry about it. I don't know whether there's something going on with the power in there, maybe.
Yeah, try now.
It's a wet South London morning in the month of May, a month that signifies so much, but in the world of football it means even more. All the hard work over the tough winter months comes down to this. All the highs and lows, the last-minute winners, the nail-biting finishes, the comfortable victories and the disappointing defeats. They've all been leading here. And there may just be 90 minutes of Palace's first season as a Category 1 academy remaining, but whatever happens this morning, it's a campaign they can look back on with pride. But there may yet be another chapter, an extended finale, which sees them crowned the country's best young side and gives them the opportunity of a lifetime to take Palace into Europe and who knows where else. West Bromwich Albion stand in their way this morning with all the action unfolding live on Palace's official YouTube channel, sponsored by the University of Roehampton. And we'll also have the news from Palace's title rivals Fulham when that comes in. But let's have a look at the team, starting with the visitors, West Brom, who make several changes to the side that beat Tottenham last time out. Daniel Ngoma starts in defence alongside Reece Hall. Rico Richards returns on the wing with Mo Farl, who scored the opener last time these two sides met, and Jesse Wangusi in attack. On the substitutes bench, reinforcements are plenty from the bench, with regulars Ethan Ingram, Zach Ashworth and Jovan Malcolm all available. Paddy McCarthy selects an unchanged side from their 5-1 victory at Brighton, with Caden Rodney likely filling in defence once again for the absent Dylan Thistleton. Aidan Steele captains the side in midfield alongside Jack Wells-Morrison, and the informed trio of Victor Akinwale, Jezrin Raksaki and David Omalabu start in attack. On the substitutes bench, Ademola Ola Adebomi is available after a goal-scoring cameo in the reverse fixture, and John Kaimani Gordon adds to Palace's attacking options, having spent much of this season leading the line for the under-23s. And speaking of the under-23s, alongside me in the commentary box this morning is the under-23s manager Shaun Derry. Good morning.
Good morning, Will.
How are we doing, and how excited are you for this one?
Yeah, we are. We're very much looking forward to this final game of the season. Let's hope it's not that final day, because it's been quite a remarkable year for the young players and Paddy McCarthy and Darren Powell. But looking forward to. I always enjoy watching the 18s. I think they're a great set of players, lovely kids. You know, they're all very much together, as you can see by this little huddle at this moment in time. And no, they're looking forward to this game. Should be a good one.
Well, let's just remind you before we kick off of the permutations at the top of the league table. Palace come into this one 3 points clear of Fulham, although with an inferior goal difference, and Fulham with a game in hand. They kick off later today against Norwich. So if Palace win, Fulham must win their final 2 games of the season. If they drop any points, then Palace will be crowned champions. A Palace draw or defeat will mean that Fulham can afford to drop points and still win the league, although it won't be over yet, because they have 2 tough games, first at Norwich and then at Chelsea on their final day of the season. But Palace seem to be in form at the right time. I think it's 6 wins on the spin coming into this one, and you've worked quite closely with this group of players. Just how exciting are they, and how talented are they?
Well, they are, absolutely. You're right. You know, there's been a large amount of movement of players throughout this season. I mean, obviously we've been working alongside so many of them. Jack Wells-Morrison, Victor's come up to the 23s, David, Teo. There's so many of these young players, and I think the good thing about the way that we work, me and Paddy, is that movement of players seems to be quite seamless. And when they do come into the 23s, they know what I want, and obviously when they go back to the 18s, they know what Paddy wants.
Well, the players just lining up on the edge of the centre circle. We will have a moment's silence before kick-off. Well, a moment's silence impeccably observed. In the background you can hear the sounds of Crystal Palace's new academy ground continuing to take shape. You can see on the far side there the new stand continuing to get taller and look more like a finished product every week as Palace go into that huddle. 90 minutes to go in the regular league season. Who knows if there's more to come, but if there's one person that knows about finishing a league season on a high, it is Shaun Derry, whose under-23 side with victory at Middlesbrough yesterday secured a place in the playoff, which you must be delighted about. Absolutely, yeah, a wonderful achievement in our first year as Category 1 status academy. So it was a real tough game, I've got to say. We've had 2 great games against Middlesbrough this week. Fortunately, we've got maximum points to take us into the playoffs, which is an incredible achievement. It was a long journey up and a brilliant return journey back to London. I think it's easy to forget, isn't it, with how well the youth sides are doing, that this is Palace's first year at this level and playing against this level of opposition. And at the same time, it's come in a season where, you know, the academy ground has been going up week on week. There hasn't been a regular place to train, depending on how the building work's going. Well, Will, that's been the difficulty. I mean, you've just mentioned there all the, all the stands being erected around the pitch, and that's been every day. So in terms of finding your voice as a coach, it's been pretty difficult some days. Well, West Brom do get us underway here. Palace West Brom in the final day of Palace's under-18s Premier League season. They fight to stay top of the league, and we'll of course bring you all the news from Fulham's game at Norwich when that kicks off, which will be about midway through the second half in this side, as Dan Quick gets his first touch of the ball and finds Jack Wells-Morrison in midfield. Ball is long towards Adaramola, and Omalabu comes back to help out as Steele is under pressure in midfield. He wins the free kick. We heard Aidan Steele speak before the game, and it's been a big season for him. He's captained this side on quite a few occasions. He's been up with the under-23s. Yeah, and he spent some time with us last year as a first-year scholar, so he's showing his experience now in his second year at the football club. He's a very measured young guy. Sees the game very, very differently to some of the other players, because a lot of the lads play off the cuff, but he's very measured in the way that he plays. Aidan, he's had an outstanding season for the 18s. Well, Ronnie Hollingshead, clearance under pressure there, goes all the way out, and it will be thrown in by Caden Rodney, who's been filling in at right back these last 2 games with Dylan Thistleton out. He's normally a central midfielder, but even from right back against Brighton, he scored a cracking goal from well outside the penalty area. It was a great goal, wasn't it? We watched the highlights. Obviously didn't go down to Brighton that day, but when you see a right back getting himself in that position and thunderous shot, it was a fantastic goal by a very good young player. Well, speaking of exciting young players, there's Jezran Raksaki getting his eye on the ball for the first time. He's out-muscled that time, and Rodney will pick it up, but West Brom have a chance to build something here. Ball is knocked forward towards Wangusi, but Quick gets in, and it will eventually be knocked out of play by Daniel Ngoma. 2 minutes in, Will, you can see the wind on this pitch is very open at the minute without that stand, and it's can't see it. The viewers watching won't actually appreciate just how destructive that wind can be, so that might play some part of this first half. Well, does that change? I mean, how much does the weather play into how you have to adapt the way you play? Well, you have to play the conditions first and foremost. I mean, what we've got is a wonderful pitch here at the new academy, but when the wind's howling like this, it does cause a little bit confusion sometimes, so they'll have to find the feet this opening 2 or 3 minutes, the players. Well, as we say, it may well be a weekend in May, but it's a very South London weekend in May. It's been driving rain all morning, and you can see on the players' shirts there just how windy it is. But they won't mind that. I mean, some players, I don't know about you, I've heard people say they prefer playing in these kind of conditions because it's just that little bit more competitive, that little bit more ball sliding all over the place. If there was one condition I hated, it was the wind. It really was. It was caused a major problem. Here's a chance. Well, it's a shot from outside the area there from Malik Cadogan, the first real sight of goal, and it was a real opening. Well, it was, and it was a well-developed set play. Good routine there by Paddy's team. Malik just couldn't catch it quite the way he does normally on the edge of the box, but it was a good routine, good start to the game. Malik Cadogan, such an important part of this under-18 side now, as that clearance from the goalkeeper is once again put under pressure, and Dan Quick can step into midfield. Adaramola's under pressure. all the way back to Joe Whitworth. He tries to pick a pass. Wells Morrison is battling away, but it's picked up in midfield now. Cleary's ball is cut out by Rodney on the edge of the box. And that will surely be a free kick for a foul on Cadogan.
Yeah, Joe's got fantastic delivery with his feet. He really has. It's one of his strong points of the game. But he'll be a little bit, obviously, nervy, like a lot of the players. All of them understand what's on stake this morning. They know it's got to be a 3-point return for Crystal Palace.
What do you say to your players? I mean, for example, yesterday, how do you try and keep their heads in the regular game when you know that there's so much at stake at the end of the season?
Absolutely, and I think, from a management perspective, throughout the week you lead into the game, you do all your technical, tactical types of training, and then it's just mindsets for a Saturday or for a Friday yesterday for us. And Paddy's excellent at that. He's got a real strength in his management, the way that he really understands what it takes to deliver on a match day, because he's been a player himself. So he'll pass on all that experience, and it's just calming the lads down and getting them focused on what they can really achieve this morning, and they've done that brilliantly throughout the season.
Well, it was interesting after Palace's victory over Fulham, which did take them top. Paddy McCarthy came out and said, well, the atmosphere in the dressing room was remarkably calm given the fact that we'd just gone to the top of the league, which I think says a lot about the focus of these players, as Jezran Raksaki is penalised for a foul on that far side.
That's what Jez has got into his game lately. He's we know that first year of his time here at Crystal Palace, he was a little bit underdeveloped. Wasn't as physical as the Jez that we're seeing now. And again, that takes place throughout the seasons. With this 2-year scholarship that they have, these boys develop incredibly quick.
Not a chance for West Brom to develop something on the edge of the area here. They've got bodies over. It's Wangusi on the edge of the box. Steele does well, and he will win the throw for Palace. And we can hear already Paddy McCarthy barking out instructions from this near side as we see it.
He's a driver, isn't he, Pad? He's there on the sideline. He gets right involved in the game. He's as do all the managers. Both our managers at Crystal Palace and also the coaches at teams like West Brom. They'll be driving their team on. I think when you come up into a game like this, Will, as well, and these are sat 8th, I think, in the league at this moment in time, and they want to end this year on a high as well. They've had their own experiences at West Brom.
Well, it's a mixed record for West Brom. Palace had a great day in the reverse fixture. They did go 1-0 down, but came back and ended up scoring 7. But West Brom have beaten Fulham already this season, Palace's title rivals, and they've shown that they can come to London and get a result. They've won away at both Spurs and Arsenal recently. So Palace won't take anything for granted as they try and close the ball down in midfield. Dan Quick will get across to take it away from the West Brom attacker. And it will be a throw for the visitors.
We can see early, in this opening 7 or 8 minutes for West Brom, they've got definitive threat in the final third. They, of course, we've mentioned the elements this morning, but if they can get it into that front 3, front 4, then they'll cause anybody problems. And there's good players up and down the country. We've got some remarkable good players here at Crystal Palace. But again, the senior management at West Brom, they'll be looking at these young players and see who can come into their first team as well.
And that, for as much as we talk about titles and playoffs, and that is the #1 priority, isn't it, for all football, is to get those players a path to the first team.
Yeah, and unfortunately, not every single young player we're witnessing at this moment in time is going to have a long, distinguished career. But the objective is to try and bring as many through as you can. And it's an unforgiving sport sometimes, football.
Well, the ball just trickling out of play there on that far side near the new stand, with those diggers standing to attention. I'm sure they'll be back to work as soon as this game's over.
Yeah, they've been making enough noise all year, Will. They just turn on their machines about 10:30 in the morning till about 12:30 when we're training.
Is it just as you're trying to deliver the emphatic line of your team talk?
The vital moment, yeah.
Headed forwards by Wells Morrison, back into midfield, and Dan Quick will hook it away. Space on this right-hand side now. Ball is knocked forward by Williams, and it's turned round the corner by Cleary towards Wangusi. File gets on the end of it. There's Williams again with a Low cross into the box, but Quick gives it to Omilabu and receives the ball back again, under pressure.
Just a little bit of a sign there for Joe Sheridan, just to get a little bit closer to his centre half, Dan Quick. Just come across the pitch a little bit, smother the space.
Advantage played by the referee, and here comes Jezrin Raksaki with his first chance to run at the West Brom defence. Wells Morrison across to Adaramola. Early ball in, and Raksaki was waiting. He has it on the edge of the box here. It falls for Wells Morrison. Now Steele tries to hook that ball round to the waiting Raksaki. Cut out well by Rodney. And eventually it is given away, and West Brom have a chance to escape that Crystal Palace pressure, and they've done it well here. Lamb fires a ball out to the left-hand side towards Far. Cuts inside, gets a shot away. It was a weak one, but Sheridan had to be sure and got a foot in to cut it out.
A good little bit of play on the counter-attack there from West Brom. Mentioned about the front four. Some decent movement in the final third as well, and I think when we get onto the edge of the box there, that's where we've got to try and get the likes of Jack Wells-Morrison with his head up. He's got a brilliant final ball. He's so creative in the way that he sees that forward pass, and he's not got that off just yet, but it's been a good little start for both teams.
Chance for West Brom to get a set piece into Palace's box now. Ball comes in towards the far post. It's headed away by Sheridan. Omilabu tries to complete the clearance, but it's back up into the air. It's dropped on the edge of the box here, but that ball through will trickle all the way to Joe Whitworth to pick up.
First contacts from the corners are really important for our two central defenders. Both got great standing jumps. Dan Quick, you'll see, I mean, you've watched him throughout the season, especially from an attacking corner. He's got a wonderful, wonderful spring, and Joe's the same, Joe Sheridan. He can really leap, so to get that first contact of corners is majorly important for the young players.
Well, it was a slow start to the season for Joe Sheridan, with Cardo Siddick often starting, but he's really taken the chance that came with Cardo Siddick's injury. He started the last 7 alongside Dan Quick. It's turned into quite a reliable partnership for Palace.
No, he's been patient, young player, still waiting for him to, you know, really develop. He's still in his first year, Joe, so he's had a good year. He's a fantastic young man as well. Listens and learns, and would have been waiting patiently for his chance, so can take it now.
Well, here he is on the ball, and his clearance charged down, and Rodney will trot over to take the throw. And he looks to get Palace underway again. 10 minutes gone here, 11 minutes. Still Palace 0, West Brom 0. And the ball is launched forward, but no one ready to collect it for Palace, and West Brom can regain possession. It's turned round the corner there, and it's held up well, and Omilabu has some defending to do now as Williams gets forward. He's held him up, and Williams is forced backwards. Support is available from Reyes Cleary, but it's hooked away. Here is Cleary again. Into midfield now. Now Rico Richards tries to spark something on the edge of the box. It's a nice hook ball out by Matt Richards to the left-hand side. Caden Rodney tries to stop the cross coming in, and he's done well to put pressure on the ball. And it looks like it will be a West Brom corner.
Yeah, just got to be careful. Our full-back's just getting dragged into central areas. Too early, too soon. But David Omilabu, just a couple of seconds ago, done really well, shown a real keenness to do his defensive duties. He does that really well for us on that left side of midfield.
Second corner for West Brom, and this time it's taken short. It's knocked round the corner, and a chance to cross now. The ball is in, and it's in the back of the net, and West Brom take an early lead. And it was clearly a set piece that had been worked on from the training ground, and Palace were caught out, and the header is in from just 6 yards out, and Crystal Palace's task has suddenly become a whole lot harder. Palace 0, West Brom 1.
Yeah, that was a real poor situation that we didn't deal with particularly well. I mean, you mentioned the set play routine, but Joe Whitworth, the goalkeeper there, he's normally very commanding inside his 6-yard box, and he'll be disappointed with his standing jump. Didn't really get the leverage that a goalkeeper perhaps needs there, and got done with a sucker punch there. Our 18s did there. It was a poor goal to really concede, because we work on that. Paddy works on that. Darren Powell and the coaches will work on them set plays throughout the week.
Well, West Brom get the opener. It was Jesse Wangusi who got the final touch. And
take nothing away from them, by the way, Will. That was you know, if that had been scored by a Palace player, we'd be waxing lyrical, wouldn't we? It was a well-developed set play.
Yeah, really well executed set piece, and it's taken them into an early lead. And what can Crystal Palace do in response? Here is David Omalabu. He's shrugged off the attention of Williams, and he has Adaramola in support. Chance to cross now. The ball does come in. It's pulled back. It's eventually cleared. Who will it fall to? Raksaki's shot is blocked, and it will go behind for a corner.
Good response by the boys. Fantastic underlap there by Teo. Look how he drives into the box. David Omalabu does well, and a lovely little slide ball into Teo. And from a fullback, you want him to pick out players, and he did just that. But good block by the West Brom defender. Again, done it twice.
Corner is taken into the area. It's headed clear. But Rodney's the first to get there, and it's back out wide. Raksaki is offside, though.
A bit of calmness, and we've done that really well. We've gone behind at certain games this season, so as much as it's not ideal in the first 15 minutes, I think Paddy will stay calm and collected, and more importantly, so will the players. You know, they know what's expected of them this afternoon.
Well, like you say, they've been here before. This is the 6th time this season that they've gone a goal down, and in 3 of the previous 5 they've come back and won the game anyway. And plenty of time left to get back into this one as Steele heads the ball on forwards. Cadogan can't quite get there. Wells Morrison does well to win the ball in the air and then challenges for it in midfield. Steele battling away once again, but Cleary manages to get across. Now Rico Richards, Rodney steps in. Ball is released to Cadogan, and it will be out for a throw on that right-hand side. And Palace don't seem to have been shaken by that early goal.
No, like I said, it's just about keeping composure. Can they just grab hold of this game? I know it's difficult. We've mentioned the conditions. It's quite a leveler. You've got to say, I've played in many of these games where the wind's been that levelling component. So, but look, they've just got to keep going. You can tell there, here's a chance.
Adaramola does get on the ball. He's offside. It was unlucky there, like you say, because the pass was held up in the wind. You could really see how the initial ball just kind of curved backwards.
Yeah, it kind of creates some sort of entanglement there, but the centre half's not sure what's happening. Teo's took control of the situation, but
and it almost stopped dead, didn't it? There, so such a powerful
it's
gust
difficult
of
today.
wind.
There's no doubt. It's very difficult. You know, it's a tough morning for the boys, but they can't let that be an excuse. You know, it's for both teams, and we've just got to try and grab hold of a little bit of composure in this game.
Well, the visitors on the ball, and Wells Morrison in quickly to win it back with a perfectly timed slide tackle. Cadogan is robbed there, but he does well to keep the pressure on. Then Adaramola tries to engineer the ball back to Dan Quick, and now Joe Whitworth again. And Palace will build from the back. Here's Joe Sheridan. Long ball towards Victor Akinwale. He gets up well to head it on, and now Cadogan will try and hold on to it. The referee gives a free kick.
Good there by Vic. Pins his man really well. He's done that a lot this year. He's a really good target man for us. Understands his game.
Here's David Omalabu on this left-hand side. Tayo Adaramola is in. You could see what he was trying to do, but the pass just overhit.
Yeah, they've got a great connection, haven't they, David and Tayo? You know, David just jumps into them little inside spaces, and then Tayo's on his bike. He's gone. He's quick. He's purposeful in the box, and it's a major strength of young Tayo's game.
Well, Omalabu's robbed the ball back here again, and Palace on top as it stands. The ball is only headed as far as Cadogan. Lays it off to Raksaki. And this time it's wide. Palace's best chance of the game.
Oh, it was, and it was a great chance for young Jez there. Just smothered it, didn't we? Brilliant by David, and a lovely little ball. And I like the touch from Malik, he just understood that the best option for him was into Jez, and he normally finishes then. Jez will be disappointed with that.
Well, he scored 2 brilliant goals in the reverse fixture, Jezrin Raksaki, and he's shown how dangerous he can be already so far today, but he will have expected to put that one in the back of the net. And here come West Brom at the other end. It is Mo File. Caden Rodney doing really well to win the ball there, and now Palace can try and break forwards with Raksaki again. He's got Cadogan in support, who picks up the ball now and does well to hold it under pressure, but eventually is crowded out. He's won it back though. Ball in towards Akinwale, who gets a touch away. Here is Victor Akinwale. Cleared off the line. Now Raksaki surely, and it's in the back of the net. And that is 1-1. And just moments after missing perhaps an even easier chance than that one, Raksaki makes up for it. He's got the ball in the back of the net, and Palace are level. And it's Jezrin Raksaki once again.
Well, it was a brilliant breakaway, wasn't it? Fantastic by 3 or 4 players. Malik does really well, holds off his man. I thought he was going to get barged out, but got his head up in wide areas. And it's a brilliant first touch there by Victor. And he was looking for the shot himself, and it was a quite a fantastic block on the line, but that bit of composure that's needed in and around the box. And the good thing about Jez' finish there was the last miss didn't affect him, and he was back in the game straight away. Good goal scorer.
Well, he almost started and finished that move there. Yeah, he released Cadogan in the first place, and then was there to pick up on the rebound, and it was a brilliant block on the line from Victor Akinwale's initial effort, but nothing doing, and it is Palace 1, West Brom 1. 20 minutes gone here, live on Crystal Palace's official YouTube channel, sponsored by the University of Roehampton. And it's been a lively start for both sides as Joe Whitworth gets the ball back into midfield. It's just missed there, but Omalabu was on his heels.
Paddy's just getting into the boys now. He's trying to keep it quick. He's trying to get us back on the front foot again, and we've definitely done that.
Here's Tayo Adaramola in behind. Can he pick a man out? It's Raksaki again. Oh, it's Victor Akinwale this time. And Palace are 2-1 up. And how quick was that?
Well, this is what I mean about this team. Every time something goes against us, we always manage to return and reply very, very quickly. Not sure if it was a foul. The fullback for West Brom will be looking at the referee, but we mentioned about that little bit of calmness in the final third, and Tayo once again just pulled out Victor, and Victor got his goal, and he'll be delighted with that. It was a good little finish into the bottom corner.
Well, about 60 seconds ago he was seeing his shot cleared off the line. He's now got one in the back of the net, and what a finish it was as well.
Well, it was, and I liked his movement. He's not got himself too square with Tayo. He's just pulled on the reverses and found his way, not fallen to his most natural foot, but it was a lovely little finish. And Victor, he wants to get goals in his games, and he's a brilliant link player, and he's a vital component of this team. But every centre forward wants to score goals.
Well, his goal against Spurs was his first in 5. He's now got 2 goals in 3 games. As West Brom try and respond immediately, Jack Wells-Morrison is doing well to put pressure on the ball, and Whitworth comes out to claim. But like you say, with the amount of goals that David Omalabu scores in this team, people often can overlook the work that Victor Akinwale does in linking up every aspect of the attack. So it's nice for him to get his name on the score sheet as well, to get some recognition of that.
Absolutely, people, when you're talking about this 2-year scholarship, this first year is so important to try and find your feet. These lads have only been out of school a year, and to be in this full-time environment, playing football every single day, and the pressures of professional football at this elite level. And Victor, again, is just finding his way into this team, and he's had a really good season.
Well, the only player in this side to feature in every game for the under-18s this season, Victor Akinwale, which says something about how highly Paddy McCarthy will rate him, as Jezrin Raksaki picks up the ball on the right-hand side. He's got Cadogan ahead of him. He does use him now. Chance for Cadogan to get a ball into the box. Instead, he cuts back inside, tries to lay it off for Raksaki. It is cut out, and it will be a corner.
Yeah, we've really penned this West Brom team in at the minute. It's been a fantastic response. from the boys. We talk about keeping the composure at vital moments. You know, these are only in their young stages of their career, so to go through these experiences is vital for them.
It will be Raksaki to take. Raises an arm and fires it towards the back post. Quick is up there, it bounces off Sheridan. Ball holding up in the wind once again, and Rodney will hook it back. Headed on by Sheridan, and now Raksaki again. This time he cuts onto his left foot, Raksaki shoots, and this time it's just over the crossbar.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he, Jez, when he gets himself in that little space. You know, when he's been with the 18s or with us with the 23s, we don't want him to have anything else in his locker there than trying to get his shot off, you know, trying to get his shot off in the final 30s. Can go either way. Perhaps a year ago he would always be coming on the inside, but now he's changed his game and he can go on the outside too. A real threat in the final third.
Well, just a reminder, if you tuned in a little later, what's at stake today. Palace currently 3 points clear at the top of the under-18s Premier League. Should they win today, they'd go 6 points clear, but Fulham would have 2 games in hand and have a superior goal difference. So if Palace win today and Fulham drop points in their final 2, Palace will be champions, and they'll go on to a playoff against the winners of the Northern Division, who it looks like will be one of Manchester United or Manchester City. And they're on their way to doing that. Went 1-0 down early on, but they've come back and they now lead. Here is the goalkeeper, Ronnie Hollingshead. Nice bit of composure to step out of his area, and he's played an ambitious ball to that left-hand side, just a bit too far.
I think just by that situation alone, you can see just how powerful this weather is. It's definitely in favour of West Brom. So for us to play against this strong wind and have the 2-1 advantage at this moment in time tells a little bit of a story. It's not always going to be the most of impressive performances, you know, on the eye. It's about character and determination, and we've shown that throughout the season. That never worries me about this young team. And
in the end, the result is the most important thing.
Well, it is, and you know, we've had some brilliant results this season. Paddy's had some great Saturday nights where he's been able to enjoy that Guinness, and let's hope tonight it's one of them situations again.
Ball does come in towards the far post. It's headed clear initially. Here's Mo File trying to make space for the shot. It's hooked away, but only as far as Cleary on that right-hand side. Space for the shot, but it doesn't curl back in on that left foot, and in the end, Joe Whitworth wasn't worried, but another chance for West Brom.
Yeah, they're always a threat, aren't they? These boys at the top there, you know, they want the ball early to them. They feel that they can have some success in the 1v1 duels, and it's not so much just us on the front foot. You know, Teo and young Caden have to be aware of the defensive responsibilities as well.
Joe Whitworth just organising his players before sending this one downfield into the wind. And it's helped on its way towards Omilabu eventually. There is a foot in.
I'm just looking at the training ground, you know. It's so exciting how it's developing. This time next year there'll be a lovely stand just at the opposite side of the pitch. I mean, yesterday we were playing up at Middlesbrough and there was a massive superstore one side of the pitch. It just goes to show, you know, the different environments that the young players play at.
Well, not long to go now until that training ground is fully up and running. And I mean, you have to give even more credit to the team, don't you? For this to be their first season against Category 1 opposition. I'll just pause as Adaramola comes forward on the edge of the box. Chance to get across in towards the back post. Raksaki gets there. It's a good save. Falls for Cadogan and then hooked off the line. Well, another big chance for Jezza and Raksaki, but the goalkeeper was equal to it that time.
Well, all the threats coming down our left-hand side and the deliveries into the box. Here's another chance for Jez.
He's won the ball back again, tries to get it into the penalty area. This one just trickles towards Ronnie Hollingshead.
He just joins in seamlessly, doesn't he, Teo? It's a brilliant pick out at the back post. I mean, a wonderful ball and an even better take on the chest.
Well, he did everything right, didn't he, there, chesting it down, and then just the keeper got out fast enough to narrow the angle.
It was a good save. It was a good save.
Omalabu is down and the ball will be kicked out. They'll hope who's all right. He left the field on crutches against Chelsea, but was back a couple of weeks later.
It was really worrying for David in particular, for Paddy and the team, and he's just looks like it's a little bit of a knock knee there, doesn't it? Don't think there was anything sinister in the tackle.
A painful one as he receives treatment. And just going back to what I was saying before, that Raksaki chance, not only is it their first season against Category 1 opposition, but they're having to do it in a training ground that's changing every week. So you have to think, what will they be like next season when they've got these facilities regularly for them?
Absolutely, and I think, you know, that's probably as pleasing as the end outcome is going to be, whether it's going to be Paddy's team playing that semi-final against Manchester United or Man City, or whether it's us, you know, playing in our own final. It's been a challenging year for us as players and coaches, but listen, you know, this is what it's all about. You know, we're just seeing a replay of Jezza's goal there. It's great how we flood the box, you know, 3, 4, 5 players in and around the box, and you know, this team and this football club in general is about getting the ball into wide areas and crossing it and making sure that there's a little bit of composure at the end of it.
Well, here's the second. This time Adaramola breaking through. And that's a great finish, isn't it, from Victor Akinwale?
I just love his movement before, you know, Victor there. He's not gone in front of the ball. He's kind of pulled on that little backwards pass, and Teo got his head up, and it's a lovely little finish and a great response to going 1-0 down. You know, whether you play the likes of West Brom or whether it's going to be a Grimsby, whatever stage the lads are going to be in their careers, you know, these 2 years, this 2-year education that they're getting it's incredible for young players. It really is.
Well, David Omalabu is back on his feet, which is great to see. And Palace have got us back underway with the ball towards Malik Cadogan. Just touched slightly loose in midfield. It's a nice flick round the corner, but Dan Quick gets there, and Victor Akinwale will do really well to hold the ball up again. Here's Jack Wells-Morrison. Rodney's ball forwards, just holds up in the wind again, but Akinwale does well to try and spin and give it to Omalabu. It's cut out on the edge of the box.
That's what we do well. We go on a real forceful press when we lose possession, and we say to the back four, you know, whether it's one of the fullbacks come out and joins the press, we say to them, you've got to deal with that in transition. You've got to make sure that you're a defender first and foremost. Midfielders go on the front foot, try and get the ball back really, really quickly, and it's excellent to watch the young players do that.
Well, Joe Sheridan in the book there for a tug back on the advancing West Brom attacker. I think he's got no real complaints. It was on Mo File there. And West Brom will have a free kick just inside the Palace half. Just over half an hour gone here. Palace lead, and that will go all the way for a goal kick, which Joe Whitworth will be happy to take. And like we say, David Omalabi back on his feet. He's scored 9 goals in his last 7 games for the under-18s, and you can expect that he'll have 1 or 2 chances today. I think he spoke when he signed his pro deal about a ridiculous season in the under-16s when he scored something like 46 times in about half as many games.
David knows his stats. He'll know them better than anyone. It's it makes me laugh. He's a goal scorer through and through. He really is. And as much as he'll be delighted with the team's performances, he'll always be looking to get on that score sheet. And I think that's brilliant. You know, you've got to have that selfishness as a forward player. You've got to want to score goals and put yourself in them situations. And David's done that really well.
And I believe did he score on his under-23s?
He
debut
did.
at Selhurst as well.
He did, absolutely. He scored one of them sniffers goals where he just found his way into the box on a tap-in for us, which was well received. I think that was against Burnley, actually.
Well, here is Raksaki trying to retrieve the ball on that far side. He's done well to keep it in, and he does win the throw. Looks to take it quickly back to Cadogan, but instead he'll wait for support, and Caden Rodney will come across. Plenty of bodies forward for Palace. And it's in towards Akinwale. He tries to spin. Now Raksaki, he's got through here. Can he jab it past the keeper? He's tried to flick it over the keeper once he's on the floor. There are half-hearted appeals for a penalty, but it will be a corner.
No, it starts again from a restart, from a throw-in look. Brilliant little movement into Victor, and Jez look how quick he is in and around the box, and I'm not sure he's going to be. I'm not sure it was a penalty. He gets his leg in though. He's brilliant at that. He's got like like a long spider's leg when he gets in there, and he's great, Jez, when he gets in that final third.
Well, it is Raksaki on the corner towards Quick at the far post. Does get his head to it. May get a second bite of the cherry here. Off to Akinwale. Can't quite force it through. And it's good defending to get across there and ensure that West Brom aren't able to break away. It will be a throw. And you can hear the wind is howling around the academy ground.
Oh, it's incredible. The wind, the rain, it's quite corrosive for the game. It really is. It doesn't really help the quality. And we know that, you know, that's the case today. It was never going to be about a quality performance. It was about getting a result. And at this moment in time, it's in our favour.
Here is David Omalabu, released by Adaramola, who gets up immediately in support. And he is found now. Chance to get a cross in. Blocked, but it will be another corner.
Great relationship, David and Teo. They really do. They bounce off each other. Look at this run by Teo once again.
Well, Palace causing real trouble on either side, with the fullbacks getting forward. And Raksaki will come across. He's played on the right, but he'll come across to the left just to get this set piece into the penalty area. Cadogan is available as a short option. And look at the corner flag billowing around there. The ball does come in. Sheridan gets up well. Omalabu will try and keep it in. Now Wells Morrison on the edge of the box. He has support behind him. Here is Rodney, whose early ball is a good one into the box. Sheridan knocks it down. And Akinwale will shoot, but the referee's seen something he doesn't like, and it will be a West Brom free kick. May well have been offside there, Akinwale.
Yeah, he was, yeah. Kept it alive. Second phase of a corner is really important for both teams. Obviously, very difficult, this situation for the centre-halves and the midfielders that are picking up, but gives us a chance, keeps it bouncing around the 18-yard area.
Dan Quick's ball to Adaramola. Another chance to hit it long. It's held up in the air once again. Out to Rico Richards now for West Brom. Ball is knocked forwards towards Fowle, headed clear by Sheridan, but it's actually ended up further behind Sheridan than when he initially knocked it forwards.
I think from West Brom's perspective, you know, this young team will be, of course, aware of the threats of Crystal Palace on the break especially, and they'll be hoping to go in at half-time with a goal to keep them in the game, because I can only see a second-half performance that's going to be hopefully dominated by us. Here's
Reyes clear, his shot's deflected. Whitworth got down well, held it.
Well, there was that chance, wasn't it? Just turned Teo on the edge of the box there. Got too tight, Teo did, but a brilliant little touch at the end of it, just fell into Joe Whitworth's hands and well received by our young goalkeeper.
And like you say, well, West Brom will be wary of Palace. I mean, how much, if at all, will that 7-1 defeat earlier in the season play on their minds? Do you think they may be wary of committing too many men forwards because they know what can happen and they want to avoid it happening again?
Well, I think from a coach's perspective, you know, the coach of this team, I think it's Peter Gilbert for West Brom, he'll be aware that, you know, you don't want to be ending the season with one of them scorelines, you know, and he would have experienced that scoreline only a few weeks ago when we completely demolished them 7-1, and I don't think them kind of scorelines do young players any favours whatsoever. And even if you keep it to a low, you know, a low scoreline and still lose the game, you can take yourself into that next game with a little bit of confidence.
Well, they started the season slowly, West Brom. Won just 2 of their first 10, but they've ended it, I think, particularly after that 7-1 defeat. They've bounced back incredibly well, and they've won 7 of their last 10. As we see an umbrella pitch invasion there, apologies for that. 7 of their last 10 and 3 in a row. So they are a team in form, and they've shown how dangerous they can be by getting the early goal, as Omilabu picks it up just inside the West Brom half. Knocked forwards towards Cadogan. Omilabu will help it on its way. Now Adaramola getting forward as always. Tries to take on his man and engineer a position to cross, but he's won a corner.
He's been great this first 38 minutes. Teo Adaramola is... Look at the way he joins in. Completely joins in with the midfielders, jumps on second balls, and he's only got one intention, and that's to become a winger. and that is the modern day fullback. You know, that's the kind of profile that gets you recognised in the modern day. It really is, and we know he has to do his defensive responsibilities, but
ball is knocked in towards Sheridan. He gets his head on it, but it was never goal bound.
Big Joe will be disappointed with that. He got a good run on his marker there, and it's just a little bit of a contact. The power's on the ball.
Well, he did get his head on it in the end, but nowhere near troubling Ronnie Hollingshead. The 16-year-old keeper for West Brom, still very young, and he has done well to save one or two attempts already despite having conceded. Here's West Brom at the other end with Reyes Cleary. It's eventually cut out and given to Omilabu on the wing.
We just mentioned a 16-year-old there. That was our very own 16-year-old Caden. He was brilliant in that central area, recognised the threat.
Well, here is Cadogan released by Akinwale on the edge of the box. Now David Omilabu. He wants to find the space to shoot. He's got Wells Morrison behind him. Adaramola is coming forwards again, and this time he can try and get there. He's kept it in. Wells Morrison again, Omilabu calling for the ball. It's a nice turn by Malik Cadogan, who shoots. It's blocked. And here is Rodney to get there first. All the way back to Sheridan. And finally back to Joe Whitworth, but it was a decent spell of possession on the edge of the box there for Crystal Palace.
It was, and that's where I mentioned earlier on in the game. That's where Jack Wells Morrison's just got that little bit of calmness, you know, that little bit of creativity in his game. Can pick a pass.
Well, the ball is all the way to the left-hand side. The shot flashes over the crossbar.
We need a cloth for the screen, don't we? Can we get the message out?
Well, it was never troubling Joe Whitworth, that one, but another sight of goal. And you mentioned Jack Wells Morrison going forwards, and there he is helping out in defence.
Well, yeah, and, you know, he needs to be that all-action midfielder. I think, you know, very rarely do you just put yourself in a position whether you're, you know, a holding midfielder or whether you're an attacking midfielder. Being an all-round midfielder, you know, it gives you a great opportunity to be a player further down the line for your career. And Jack's got that capability. He can sit in front of a back four and dictate and create, or he can be that number 10. He's scored goals in that position as well.
Well, he started the season, didn't he, alongside Aidan Steele, with Finn Mooney in that kind of number 10 role. And then since Mooney's injury, he's really stepped in to fill that creative gap that was left. And he has, yeah, like you say, he's got himself on the score sheet quite a few times.
He is. We've changed his second name to Jack McCarthy because Paddy loves him that much. I think he can take him home and have him as his own boy.
Well, there is no higher praise than that, I don't think. Here's an attack that's cut out by Caden Rodney. The referees deemed it a foul, and it's a good opportunity here for West Brom to get a ball in the box.
He just got caught square, didn't he, young Caden? He's only in his infancy playing in this position. He's normally a midfielder, so here's that cloth. Here we are. We're back in the game. Oh, look at this.
Oh, there we go. And you've missed nothing in that 2 or 3 second interval.
We've had the umbrella, now the cloth. He's made the screen worse. Who's doing this? Come on, lads.
Well, this is live under-18s football for you.
It's great, isn't it?
In the howling wind and the rain in South London in May. But we will see West Brom's free kick from the edge of the box here. 2 men standing over the ball. It is an in-swinging ball towards the far post, and Whitworth will be happy to see that. just carry all the way out for a goal kick.
Challenging day for everybody this morning. Players, staff, cameramen. Still, we've got a game on, which is important. This is what these
you forgot to mention.
commentators, absolutely. But it's important. These lads, you know, they'll play in all these different situations, scenarios, environments like this, weather conditions, and just gets them used to what the careers are hopefully going to look like.
Ball is knocked long towards Omelabu. He's knocked it down really well, and now Cadogan has it on the edge of the box. And here is a chance for Omelabu to get a shot away. Delays slightly, comes back inside. He's held onto the ball really well here, drills it across the face of goal, and it was almost an own goal there. Eventually picked up by Hollingshead. And now West Brom have a chance to break and see if they can go into the break level. It's Reyes Cleary who's spun away really well, manages to get a ball in, headed clear by Sheridan. And now Cadogan will come forward, and it's an end-to-end finish to this first half. Cadogan is brought down, but the referee waves play on. Into the goal scorer, Wangusi, who's knocked off the ball by Akinwale, and Palace this time do win the free kick.
Brilliant pressing by Palace there. It was a wonderful little turn on, just short of the halfway line by Malik. He's got that as well. He's got that ability just to drop his shoulder and drive into space and commit players, which is impressive. Again, he's in his first year as well for us, and then losing possession and smothering the opposition, which is a massive part of the game as well.
Well, we're into added time at the end of the first half here. Palace lead, but West Brom come forwards for perhaps the final chance of the opening period. It's won back well by Caden Rodney. Knocked forwards. Akinwale can't quite hold it up, and West Brom win the throw. And we will get that screen a thorough cleaning at half-time. And hopefully the wind and the rain will let up ever so slightly as Lamb knocks the ball out to the right-hand side. Omelabu chases back well to put pressure on Williams and wins Palace the goal kick. And that is it for the first period. Palace 2, West Brom 1. The visitors took the lead after just 10 minutes, but 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes in a lightning quick spell for Crystal Palace have brought them back in front. They're halfway there. They need a win today to really keep their title hopes alive. And, well, they're 45 minutes away from doing just that. Shaun, Derry.
Yeah, it's been a challenging first half for both players, to be fair. Conditions have been poor, but wonderful response by our young players. Going that goal down, it would have hurt us. Obviously disappointed in the manner of the goal, but fantastic, destructive reply for us. That 2 goals in 2 minutes is everything that we've seen from this under-18s team this year.
Half-time here. Palace 2, West Brom 1. We'll be back for the second half.
So it's half time, and for your entertainment today, it's pretty much all football match footage. And normally you wouldn't show the highlights of a team's last game at half time. You show it before the game, wouldn't you? But we've got a bit of time now. Plus, they absolutely hammered Brighton. So here is the under-18s against that team from the South Coast.
Take care of the ball. He needs support. Take care of it. Get a pass. Jacko, he needs you. Stand. Good. Take care of it. This team. Shoulders. Hayden.
Don't let him get in front of you there!
first time I started going to the game, it was like there was an atmosphere.
When I went with Palace to the FA Cup, went to Wembley, and when we scored, it was just the hugs and the shouting and the love.
There was something about it. There was something about it that made it better.
Crystal Palace got that Sheffield away game, and that brings my interest.
Granddad bought him his season ticket when he was 3, but he was really scared of the noise. Andrew Townsend's shirt is framed in his bedroom.
We all want to one time see the Palace lift the cup, but the real beauty is in a struggle.
The last one I worked this season was West Ham, and I remember I stood outside a pub when RU scored. Obviously heard the roar before we scored on my phone anyway. I was like, it's got to be a home goal.
You support this club, and then all this emotion you see on the training, how the players and staff and all the media teams, how it's important for all of us for a mood around the club. I love making pictures of the fans as well, so it's very important. All this place changed my life.
They didn't tell you I was the maddest one, but hey.
Whew, how enjoyable was that? Should we just watch it again? No. Okay, well, go on YouTube and watch that every day this week, because that was a very joyous thing that happened there. Now, the under-23s went into this week on Monday knowing that they had 2 games against Middlesbrough, one on the Monday, one on the Friday, and they had to win both of them, really, to get into the playoffs. And this is how the week started on Monday at Selhurst Park.
Hey, warm welcome to Selhurst Park. Monday lunchtime football for you live from SE25 as Crystal Palace face Middlesbrough at under 23 level. It is the Young Eagles' last home game of the season, and they need to win to keep alive their hopes of a playoff spot. Borough, one of the sides they need to catch for a top 5 finish, and always a special occasion when the under 23s get to play at Selhurst. He's picked out Sharif here.
Well done.
David Boateng gets back, he picks the pass to Gibson.
Good save.
Fine save from Ollie Webber, but Middlesbrough are really on top here in the opening 15 minutes at Selhurst Park.
Supporting the
Taylor, he's given that away in a really dangerous position, and this could be 1-0 Middlesbrough. It is. Connor Malley, a bit of a gift, but he's punished it very well. And Middlesbrough, after 17 minutes, strike first at Selhurst Park, and in truth, they deserve it after the start they've made.
Well, it's a gift, isn't it? James Taylor just gets caught under pressure, passes one inside. It's just to nobody, is it? And they're straight onto it, like they should be, snapping away at us.
It's a lovely run, and this ball is on a lot, and he's in behind Bagaloo here. Burrell, it could be 2. Well, that's a huge let-off. What a chance that was for Borough to double their lead inside 20 minutes.
Well done.
That's good from Spence and Klein. Klein here, has he kept that in play? I think he has. He's done fantastically well. And he's picked out David Boateng here. 1-1.
Well done.
Well, that is Crystal Palace's first real attack. But David Boateng provides the finish, and it's all square at Selhurst Park.
I mean, full credit to Klein here. First time he's really got forward. This is a bit of strength here. Watch, just here. Pushed the opponent away, sits one up at the far post. Excellent. David Boateng gets on the end of it. The rebound, he's fortunate, but it doesn't matter. He buries it. So, I mean, that shows you, as wing backs, really, your value. And it's
Burrell here is going to be onto it.
Great ball.
It was a great ball, and Burrell here, he's gone beyond Tompkins. And he's pulled it back successfully as well, and this is going to be 2-1. No, it's not.
My goodness.
Sensational defending from J. Rich Bagaloo. Where did he appear from? For all the world, looked like it was 2-1 to Borough. Gorgeous ball from Tompkins. David Boateng is right-footed, but he's done ever so well to control that. David Boateng's already scored 1 today. He's teed up Spence here. And it's hit the bar back to Rob Street. What a save that is.
Wow.
Well, the flag stayed down. And that is a tremendous stop from Solbrin.
Wow.
Dangerous old ball in. It's going to come through here to Kokolo. Good save from Webber. Not for the first time saving Crystal Palace today. Can Spence put this on the money here? It's a good looking ball. It's O'Brien. It's perfect. And Palace have come from behind to win. They need 3 points today. And that goal has them on course for victory as things stand.
Well, I wouldn't say we've won, Chris. I would say that we've gone ahead.
As things stand.
As things stand, okay. Well, what can you say? It's movement, and as you just say, it's in the back of the net there.
From side we're on. Instead, he goes towards Bagaloo, he and O'Brien. And then Streets.
Oh.
Whistle had gone.
Pushing, the referee says, right, you've got to stand on this, Rob. Stand on it. Any contact, definitely. The referee's going to...
Here is Gibson, he's inside O'Brien, and he's picked out Fletcher. Great save.
Must be offside.
Burrell must be offside. The flag stayed down, the goal stands. It's been whacked home by Connor Malley. And Middlesbrough are level. It's 2-2.
Well, it's our own fault. Give the ball away too easily, and then we don't get back quick enough to get it behind the ball. It's a great save from Ollie, and then this. Well, what can you say about that? There's not many spaces you can get it into the back of the net from where he was, and he picks out the top corner, and he's been impressive. He has 2 goals today. Well, 2-2.
And I think Joe,
everything's bounced back to the guy who gives it you. That's no good.
Cornet's going to hit it, and Ollie Webber watched that one, and thankfully watched it drift wide.
Yeah, he was quite lucky. The run.
Here goes Bagaloo. Gordon, it's a good-looking ball in Street. It's going to drop for Spence.
Oh, off balance.
Well, we've seen him score goals like that this season, but that one goes over the bar as we tick towards the 90-minute mark.
Yeah.
Burton, who equalised in the first half. Street rises again. He's fouled there, and this is a set piece. This is a chance.
I don't see.
They have this platform here. Deep now into added on time. Spence delivers. Can someone get on the end of it? It's O'Brien!
Oh,
it's gone in! It's the late goal Palace so desperately wanted. Jake O'Brien's second of the afternoon. It's 3-2.
Wow. Well done to Jake. Goal first half, goal second. Shaun Spence, what a delivery. I mean, this is into the wind, so you can put a bit of shape on it. But Jake at the far post, once again, gets himself free. I think the header's too powerful for the goalkeeper to stop. Very good delivery, very good header. Well done. Battled it out to the end.
Now O'Brien needs to be careful. It's going to drop, fortunately, for Malachi Boateng. Referee puts his whistle to his mouth. 3 big points. And Palace still have hope of a top 5 finish. They will head to Teesside later this week for their final game of the season with the chance to book a playoff spot. What a game and what a finish. Roll on the final game of the season away at Middlesbrough later this week. Full-time score at Selhurst Park. What a match. Palace 3, Borough 2.
Second corner for West Brom, and this time it's taken short. It's knocked round the corner and a chance to cross now. The ball is in, and it's in the back of the net. And West Brom take an early lead, who picks up the ball now and does well to hold it under pressure, but eventually is crowded out. He's won it back, though. Ball in towards Akinwale, who gets a touch away. Here is Victor Akinwale. Cleared off the line. Now Raksaki, surely. And it's in the back of the net. And that is 1-1. And just moments after missing, perhaps, an even easier chance than that one, Raksaki makes up for it. He's got the ball in the back of the net, and Palace...
We've definitely done that.
Here's Tayo Adaramola in behind. Can he pick a man out? It's Raksaki again. Oh, it's Victor Akinwale this time. And Palace are 2-1 up. And how quick... Welcome back. Crystal Palace 2, West Bromwich Albion 1 at half-time here in the final day of Crystal Palace's Under-18s Premier League South season. And Palace have already come from behind. West Brom took the lead through Wangusi after just 10 minutes. And then quick-fire goals from Jezerin Raksaki and Victor Akinwale have Palace ahead at the break. Just a reminder of where things stand today. Crystal Palace came into the final day of the season today 3 points clear of their title rivals Fulham, although Fulham had a game in hand and superior goal difference. So if Palace can hold on to all 3 points today, they'll go 6 points clear. Fulham will kick off against Norwich about halfway through the second half here. And if Fulham drop points in either of their final 2 games, that will see Crystal Palace crowned the Under-18s Premier League South champions and go on to a playoff for the overall league title against one of Manchester United and Manchester City. Well, alongside me for the first half and indeed for the second half is Crystal Palace Under-23s manager Shaun Derry. What did you think of that first half there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously impressed by the reaction to going a goal down. It was always going to be a nervy encounter leading into today's game, and we've spoke about the elements. It's been quite difficult for both teams, but I just like the fact that, you know, we get into the final third and we cross the ball and we get it inside the 18-yard box, smother the box, and suddenly, you know, we're 2-1 up, and it takes us into the second half now, and I'm hopeful. I mean, obviously we're not right there next to it because we're in the stadium, but we look at where the forcefulness of this weather, and can we pin this West Brom team in the second half and be destructive and dominant like I know that we can be under 18 level.
Well, the goal scorer Victor Akinwale will get us back underway here. No subs for either side, and even placing the ball on the centre spot proving difficult in the wind and the rain down in South London, and the referee gets us back up and running as Aidan Steele shifts a long ball downfield. And will it take a few moments for Palace to get used to playing with the wind behind them after the first half, having to kind of place extra power on those long balls forward because it was going held up in the wind so much?
You have to be very careful, of course. You know, people watching the game, those that have, you know, played the game itself, you can realise and recognise the importance of not overcooking a pass, because it will just go out for goal kicks and throw-ins. So can we be a little bit more creative in the way that we play? You know, can we change the way we play from the first to the second half? And we might, Paddy would have been speaking to the boys about going through the thirds with a little bit more finesse, because it was about getting the job done in the first half, and we've done that. And now can we really control this game in the second half?
Well, an early chance to get a ball into the penalty area. Raksaki, and well, he stands over the free kick. He's played a long ball down the line there. You could see what they were attempting to do, but the execution was all wrong.
That's probably evidence of what I've just said there about, you know, trying to be too precise and intricate. It's a case of getting the ball in the box, because if you think about it, this West Brom team spent a lot of time defending in the first half, so you can imagine where their starting line is going to be, right on the edge of the 18-yard box. Goalkeeper can't get it up 30 yards, and that's because of the power of this weather.
Well, Cadogan getting in there to try and win it back high upfield. Wells Morrison will challenge for it. He's got options to his left. Omalabu running forward. Adaramola can't find him, but he's won the ball back well. Now Steele. Here's Wells Morrison. Just in a bit of a tight spot on that far side. He's done really well to keep the ball. And Dan Quick will play a beautiful ball out to the left-hand side. Raksaki just about keeps it in. Support comes from Rodney. Chance to get a cross into the box, which he does. It was just behind the advancing Cadogan.
Great switcher play by Dan Quick. Right on the money. It was a good run by Jez. Shown his number, went in behind. Doesn't always want to come short to the ball. Mixing his game up, which is good.
Well, the throw is cut out. It's cleared away. But intercepted in midfield by Adaramola. Perhaps just outfoxed by the bounce of the ball there. Out to Reyes Cleary, who's looked dangerous for West Brom when they have gone forwards. His pass is intercepted by Quick.
Because the likelihood is we're going to be involved, you know, in possession a lot. You know, our defenders, our holding midfielder, probably more so Aidan Steele rather than a Jack Wells Morrison. Have just got to be aware that, you know, we're not sloppy, we don't get caught on the counter.
Here is Victor Akinwale. The referee's not given a foul, and he's advancing on the keeper now. Squares it, and it is 3. And just like that, Palace go from one end of the field to the other. And they boost their advantage in this game. It's a 2-goal cushion, and it's Palace 3, West Brom 1.
And it's a brilliant time to score, it really is. Again, just one of them little lofted passes. Don't want to put too much power on the ball. A lovely little run by Victor there. Got his head up early, seen the advancing players, and it was on a plate, wasn't it, for Malik, and he'll be delighted with that.
Well, Malik Cadogan on the score sheet once again, and Palace now have a commanding lead in this game, and suddenly it's a bit of a shift in mentality for West Brom. Not only do they have to commit more men forwards and try and chase the game, but in the back of their minds they may well be thinking about the last time these two sides met, where once again they took the lead and then conceded a couple of quick-fire goals and saw Palace in the end rack up 7 in the second half. The ball is towards Akinwale once again. This time it's just a little bit too far for him.
You can hear Paddy on the sideline there, you know, really urging his team to go for the jugular. You know, he won't be sitting on a 3-1 this morning. He wants more. This team have been quite commanding in some of the score lines, and I just want to see, of course, the win. The win's the most vital component today, of course it is, but can we control this second half? People like Jack Wells-Morrison can really control a pitch.
Raksaki now with a chance to use those dancing feet to get into the penalty area. His pass is just cut out, but Quick steps into midfield well, and now Wells-Morrison picks up the ball.
He's calm, isn't he, Jack? You look at him, doesn't get flustered. He's got brilliant qualities, technique. You know, he can just lift the pace of a pitch, and he can slow a pitch down as well, which is testament to his qualities. He's a real good young player, Jack, and he's played with us a few times for the 23s, and looking forward to working with him in the future. He's a good player.
Is that something that comes naturally to players, or is that something you can teach, that ability to just switch the tempo up and control the game?
I think, you know, we spoke about what type of player he can be. I think he can, you know, he can play at some real good levels, Jack. And I think, you know, he would have had this calmness throughout. Aidan don't need to get involved here. It's a few handbags just happening. I like how they all get involved, though. You know, the lads, they back each other, don't they?
Well, they're such a tight unit.
David's
this side,
laughing,
aren't
David
they?
Omalabu, they're all having a laugh and a joke.
I think Aidan Steele just took objection to being, the ball was fired at him from quite a close distance after the referee's whistle has gone. If you just see at the end here, I think that was smart on a cold day, but yeah, a fuss over nothing.
No, I was on about Jack there, about his qualities, about livening the pitch up when he wants to. You know, he sees a forward pass. He's got, you know, he's got brilliant creativity, and at times, again, first-year scholar, he's had a great season.
Aidan Steele up and ready to take the free kick, which he does nicely to the left-hand side. And here is David Omalabu, and as always, Tayo Adaramola offers support and gets into a crossing position in the box. He goes down, and the referee is not interested in any penalty appeals there.
What he teases and tantalises, does in that final third, Tayo. Look at his body there. He's going from one side to the other, and it's difficult for a full-back when Tayo's looking at you, you know, flushing the eye, and he wants to get past you. I don't think it was a penalty.
Well, let's just look at the way that clearance has only made it as far as Palace's final third. Here is David Omalabu, who's made space for the shot, and he's found the bottom corner, and David Omalabu gets his customary goal, and Palace have 4.
And I think this performance just highlights just how impressive the first half was against this wind. You know, we took control of the first half, come away with a 2-1 scoreline at half-time, and now just look at this. That starts with the goalkeeper. He just can't get it out of his box. It's so strong, this wind, but we've pounced on it, and brilliant by David. He wiggles and jiggles inside the 18-yard box, and a lovely little finish into the far corner. Gets his customary goal, which is important for him.
That's his 19th goal in 19 under-18s games this season.
It's a brilliant return, it really is. Well, at any level.
Well, that's 2 quick-fire goals at the start of the second half for Crystal Palace, and now they'll be thinking about maybe adding a few more. West Brom determined not to let this reach the heights it did in the reverse fixture, and they can try and alter their fortunes by coming forward themselves, but once again those high balls really subject to those gusts of wind, and that one goes straight out for a Palace goal kick.
Well, I think you mentioned about the kick-off time for Fulham as well, midway through this second half. A statement win for Crystal Palace, or a scoreline when them Fulham players enter the pitch. They'll know that they have to turn up for their game this afternoon, and all Palace can do is what they've done all year and do the job.
And it's a good point, isn't it? Because there's not just 3 points clear, there'll be 6 points clear. As we just see Adaramola advancing again. He's got Akinwale as an option in the box. It's hooked behind for a corner. Yeah, there'll be 6 points clear, Palace, so Fulham will know not only today they can't drop points, but then they'll have to go and do it all again against Chelsea next week.
I mean, if it does lie on that Chelsea performance, you know, a West London derby at any age is quite a tantalising afternoon. I'm sure there'll be a lot of these Palace players tuning in for that.
Well, can they get a fifth here? It's Raksaki's corner. This time it's straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, Hollingshead. And he distributes the ball quickly out to this left-hand side for West Brom. Victor Akinwale working hard to get all the way back there and nick the ball away. And you could hear the applause from Paddy McCarthy.
I think that's the challenge for this young goalkeeper, Hollingshead, this afternoon for West Brom. You know, to kick it into the wind as high as he has done, it's just going to come back and hit him clean in the face. So he needs to build as well. And unfortunately for West Brom, it's going to be a difficult last period of this game.
Well, that one's just slightly overhit from Wells Morrison, and Adaramola couldn't get there. And Alex Williams will come across to take the throw. Cadogan puts pressure on the ball. This time Wells Morrison wins it back, and Akinwale does well once again to play on the turn and look for support. Backwards to Steele. And Sheridan can come across the halfway line. He looks for Raksaki on that far side, but the ball is cut out in the air. Hollingshead again. This time the clearance will find its way to Akinwale. Can he finish here? He'll get a second attempt, this time with his left foot. And it's wide. The West Brom players are angry about something.
They're angry because it was a clear offside for Victor Akinwale, and the linesman's not put his flag up. I think it's come off. Palace player, and I think Victor knew that he was offside, otherwise he would have finished that, I'm sure.
Well, you're right, he was 2 or 3 yards offside, wasn't he? And I think it was Mackenzie Lamb in midfield there making his feelings known. Akinwale is back on his feet. Got Palace's second goal this morning. And he scored against West Brom last time out as well, so this proving favourable opposition for him as the game gets back underway. This time the ball will trickle out for a Palace throw.
It's very difficult, you know, for both sets of players, and I'm obviously delighted that we're 4-1 up at this moment in time, but for this West Brom team, young players, 16, 17, 18 years old in this environment, no stand around you, and you know, I've played in games where, you know, it's been windy, but you've had 4 stands around you and it stops that wind sometimes, and you're literally open to the elements this afternoon. So that's probably why we're seeing a lack of quality at certain stages for both teams. But it's all about the result for us. You know, let's keep both eyes on what our intentions are this morning.
Well, it's a result they look like they'll be getting, unless West Brom can produce a miraculous comeback in this second half, and they're doing it in some style once again. This is now 24 goals they've scored in their last, I believe, 5.5 games. So this is a team that knows how to find the back of the net.
Oh, they do, and they pride themselves on it in the net as well. I've watched Paddy and Darren Powell's training sessions, and you know, these young players, they love scoring goals. You know, David Omalabu, you'll see, is get as much joy out of a training goal as a match goal.
Here is Raksaki looking for Palace's 5th. He's found Malik Cadogan, who's under pressure, stayed on his feet, and Rodney will get the cross into the box. It goes all the way to the back post and eventually is forced behind for a corner.
It's a good little clip by Caden Rodney there, and just looking at Victor's movement, I think he's expecting a far post delivery, but I think the wind's caught it. It's dropped suddenly in between the 2 defenders, and he just didn't know what to do there, Vic, did he? Couldn't really see the flight of the ball, but it was a good little ball by our right back.
Well, the corner count increasing for Crystal Palace. Raksaki with the responsibility once again. This one deeper towards the far post. Sheridan is there, he gets up well, but Hollingshead catches. And in the end, there was no power on the effort.
I think Mo filed on really well there for West Brom, done his defensive duties.
A chance for a bit of possession now for West Brom as they look to fashion in their first opening in this second half. They win the free kick. Rico Richards brought down. And here comes Reyes Cleary, but Adaramola is too strong for him once again. This time he's struck square in the face and he goes down, and we will have a stoppage. Rico Richards been at West Brom since 7 years old, and he actually trained with the first team and was singled out for praise by Charlie Austin, who said he made an excellent strike partner. So he's obviously got a big future ahead of him. But
it's great, isn't it? Just seeing that replay is smashed straight away into Teo's face. He'll be feeling that. But an opportunity for the lads to have a little discussion in the middle of the pitch. And that's, you've just mentioned there about young players going into the first team environment. That's what the game's about, you know. It's about having them experiences, playing with the first team players, having them conversations with the first team players as well, having lunch with the first team players, and sharing a training pitch. It's so much part of the game.
what advice do you give to your players if you know they're going to go up and train with the first team for the first time?
Yeah, make an impression. Go and make an impression, you know. Go and speak to the manager, you know. We've had many occasions where some of our players have gone over to the first team's training ground, and I say, make sure when you come away from that experience that Roy Hodgson knows who you are. You know who you are. You know, go and say hello to him and Ray Lewington and Dave Reddington, and make sure he comes back and he recognises who you are, so he asks for you again. You know, and in terms of a training impact, don't just stand on the outside. If you're an individual, go and show your individuality. You know, if you're a goal scorer, go and score your goals. You know, if you're a midfielder, go and put some heavy tackles in on some of the likes of James McCarthy or James MacArthur, and you know, just be yourself and experience something that you want more of. And that's the kind of message that we show, you know, that we give to the players.
And because I guess the natural instinct, as we see West Brom to prepare to make 3 changes, the natural instinct might be to kind of not try and upset any of the first team players, but is it almost the opposite? You've got to go in and put those full-blooded challenges because they'll respect you for...
Of course, you know, you don't want to go over there and be dangerous in terms of the way that you play, but you don't want to go over there if you're a midfielder and that's part of your game, that you don't show what your vital component is. You know, this is your career. You know, you've got to show a level of selfishness in a selfless environment, and that's what being a footballer is all about. You know, you can't go into that environment and come away and have any regrets, because you might only get asked once.
Well, let's just have a look at these Palace goals again. This is the equaliser for Jezeran Raksaki, forcing the ball in there, and then I think it was only about 60 seconds later, Victor Akinwale popping up to make it 2-1, and that was how the first half ended. But Palace have come out in the second half at full speed. This time Akinwale turning the provider for Malik Cadogan, just a few yards out. And finally David Omalabu, who else, getting on the score sheet with a lovely finish, and it's put Palace in a really commanding position as Tayo Adaramola is back on his feet. And I believe that West Brom were preparing to make a triple change. I don't know if that's actually gone through yet, but it looked like Zach Ashworth and Ethan Ingram and Jovan Malcolm all preparing to come on. And we will get started with the drop ball.
Looks like Teo's got it clean in his mouth there. It's just a blood shirt's come on from the physio and the kit man, and just getting some treatment on that far side.
Well, Palace momentarily down to 10 men as West Brom look to take advantage. And a chance for them to hold the ball a little bit with Mackenzie Lamb playing it out to the right-hand side, and Alex Williams. Now Reyes Cleary trying to use his strength. Jack Wells-Morrison flicks the ball up onto David Omalabu's arm. Not much he could do about there, but he is penalised.
Yeah, Jack's just joined. He's just joined the back four, just jumped into the left-back position while Teo's off the pitch, and just adopted like a 4-4 and a 1 while Teo's off.
Well, it gives a chance for West Brom to make these substitutions. Jovan Malcolm is on in place of Reyes Cleary, and we will now see Zach Ashworth and Ethan Ingram take to the field. It looks like Alex Williams will be coming off, and so a triple roll of the dice. for West Bromwich Albion as they look to get back into this game, and they can do it almost straight away from this set piece. Ball comes in towards the far post, and Whitworth had to make sure it was heading over the crossbar.
I'm not sure about the delivery there. I think you'd be slightly disappointed if you're waiting as a centre half or a centre forward for West Brom, and thought it was a great little angle for West Brom to put a ball into the box and challenge our centre halves, especially with us being a man down. They're the kind of things that frustrate you as a manager. You know, when you've worked throughout the week on set plays like we do religiously, and it doesn't come off, or you know, a player will make the wrong decision.
Well, they did
especially
open
when
scoring
you 4-1
from
down.
that set play as well.
Yeah, especially when you're 4-1 down, Whirling, you know, you give yourself that opportunity of scoring a goal.
Well, we should just clarify it was Rico Richards who was withdrawn rather than Reyes Cleary. Still no changes for Crystal Palace as they look for a 5th goal in this game. 65 minutes gone here. Palace 4, West Brom 1. Live on Crystal Palace's official YouTube channel, sponsored by the University of Roehampton, and Crystal Palace solidifying their position at the top of the Under-18s Premier League, and all eyes will turn after full time to Fulham, who travel to Norwich today to see if they can keep up the pace and take this title race right down to Fulham's final game next weekend. Palace are doing all they can though, as the throw is long towards Victor Akinwale. Here's Hollingshead, who steps out and tries one of those clearances once again, but again the wind is proving a tough enemy to get a handle on, and Palace have regained possession. Rodney's ball is a nice one into Raksaki, and the cross is cut out, and West Brom have a chance to clear. Here's Steele, back to Sheridan. Passes cut out, and a chance to break away now. Here's Wangusi, the goal scorer. His ball is just a little heavy. And plenty of time for Joe Whitworth to assess his options and bring the ball forwards. It's a nice ball to try and find Raksaki. In fact, it's Omalabu on that far side. He's done really well to keep hold of the ball and is trying to engineer a crossing position here. Back to Cadogan. Now Steele. Wells Morrison on that left-hand side. And that's nice pressing from West Brom to force Palace all the way back to the keeper.
No, it's good from us as well, you know, just taking control of the situation while we're a man down. There's no reason to really go, and it's a great ball again.
Here is Raksaki, another chance to get in the box. This time he turns onto his right foot, shoots, and it's just cut out at the far post.
He's a full-back's threat, isn't he? Every time he gets into that 18-yard box, he's only got one thing in his concern, and that's to get at the full-back and make things happen. Drops his shoulder left and right, and to play against somebody like Jez would be quite difficult at this age.
Well, he's so happy to shoot with either foot, isn't he? So you never know whether he's going to cut back inside.
Or I mean, he really has. He's a predominantly left-footed player, but he can really mix his game up now, Jez. He's come on leaps and bounds.
Akinwale putting pressure on Hollingshead this time. He elects to go short. And Daniel Ngoma will play it out to the right-hand side. Now Reyes Cleary again, battling with Wells Morrison, who is that makeshift left-back, while Adaramola continues to receive treatment. And Palace doing well to dominate the possession despite being down to 10 men. All the way back to Joe Whitworth. And that's a nice ball to Jezza and Raksaki. He has support from Rodney behind him. That ball's just a little loose and it can be picked up on the left-hand side. Rodney does well to regain possession. Here's Akinwale. Just crowded out there as he looked for an option in support. Omalabu was advancing down that left-hand side. West Brom happy to keep the ball here.
You can hear from the sideline as well, 4-1 up, and our coaches are driving our team to get that 5th goal and make that statement this afternoon, ready for that Fulham game.
Well, Dan Quick steps in again there, and he can now bring the ball forwards. It looks like Tayo Adaramola is almost ready to rejoin the action. And it will be a Palace throw, and here comes Tayo Adaramola all mopped up.
He's had a full dental repair by the by the amount of time he's been off the pitch. Young Tayo is he would have felt that, and he'll be struggling to eat his post-match food, I'm sure, but it's good to see him back on the pitch. He's going to have them certain situations while he's going to be, you know, developing as a player. He's that resilience of a defender as well, which is so vitally important in the game as well.
Well, he got some valuable minutes with the under-23s in that win against Middlesbrough at Selhurst Park, and he's back on without a number, but he's back on the pitch here. And 70 minutes gone, Palace leading. 20 minutes gone in Norwich as Fulham look to keep up the pace with Palace. Still 0-0 there. We'll bring you any news of goals should they go in.
It could be an incredible day for us today, depending on what that result is. The Fulham and Norwich result could be. I mean, this is all we can control is this game. You know, this is what the lads have been concerned about all week. Paddy and Powley and all the coaching staff and performance coaches that go along with working together so closely as in an academy. It's been an incredible afternoon, and like I say, we're doing our job, which is important.
Well, it was Tayo Adaramola who, when he signed his professional contract back in the winter, he said, I think we can easily beat any team in England at our level right now. And it did sound like confidence, but they've gone out on the pitch and they've proved it throughout the season, and they're close to beating another team today.
Don't you just love to hear that though, Will? You know, young players full of confidence, you know, not bordering with arrogance, it's just super confidence, which is what you need.
Yeah, it's not we are guaranteed to beat them, it's just that we can beat them when we play well, and they've done that so many times since.
And this is the good thing, you know, I've watched these lads closely all year, you know, they're a confident bunch of lads. And I think when you're in academies like this, and we know it's an individual sport to a degree because not everybody's going to come through and be professional footballers. But what they've got, and what Paddy and Powley have done really well this year, is created a bond and created a real team ethic, which I think allows these players to develop and understand what it takes to be footballers in the modern day.
And there's one that we've praised all afternoon, Jack Wells-Morrison. On to Tayo Adaramola. And Palace in complete control of this game. Here's Sheridan, Steele as an option coming short. Instead, it's long now, Raksaki. Oh, he's turned away really nicely there again, and he has Rodney on the right-hand side. Rodney does really well to get the cross in, but it's just overhit, and it will go up for a goal kick.
Yeah, once again, Jez just getting in that little half space, twisting and turning. It's brilliant to see the fullbacks as high as we play. You know, both sides, Caden Rodney this side and Tayo Adaramola on the other side. They really play as a kind of a second winger. You know, double up, cause a lot of confusion for the opposition's fullback. You know, the wingers have to come and drop back into a defensive zone, which causes a problem for teams like West Brom.
Especially with Raksaki and Omalabu so happy to come inside as well.
Well, they're great, aren't they? You know, we've seen today, you know, they've shown that what they can possess in an attacking point of view, but defensively they've done their jobs. And if you're going to play for Crystal Palace at whatever age, you've got to work exceptionally hard, because this is what this club's all about. You know, it's in the DNA of this football club. Wingers can't just stay high and wide and just forget about their defensive responsibilities. They've got to be that defender as well out of possession, and these two players do that.
And we shouldn't forget, really, there are quite a few players who are missing for Palace. Of course, Finn Mooney's missed the last 5. I know Omalabu was out for a bit of a spell earlier in the season. Jaden Raymond has been struggling with his fitness. Cardo Siddick has yet to come back from the injury he sustained a couple of months ago. So it just shows, like you say, how much of a tight squad this is, that players are happy to wait patiently like Joe Sheridan and then step into the team and perform well when they're needed.
Absolutely, and unfortunately for them players that you've just mentioned there, you know, when one door closes another opens, and the likes of Joe Sheridan and Malik Cadogan, they've took their chance.
Chance now for Wangusi to come forward for West Brom. He had support on the left, instead he goes infield. Slight miscommunication there between Fal and Cleary, and Adaramola is back doing what he's used to, which is rampaging down that left-hand side. He's got Omalabu ahead of him, and the cross is in towards the near post, but gathered by the keeper.
Yeah, and just going back to them experiences of them particular 5 players who have had their injuries, you know, unfortunately that is part of the game as well, is how they deal with them injuries and can they return from them, and I'm sure all 5 of them will. You know, they're all great lads, very, very professional, doing their rehab really well as well, and all 5 are coming along ready for next season, which is an important season for all of them. It's one that we've got a lot to look forward to.
And that stand is a testament to how much there is to look forward to for Crystal Palace as the academy ground continues to take shape. Here's Cadogan with a chance to get a cross in towards Akinwale. It's headed away, and eventually we'll bring it back for what I believe must be an offside. And frustration for Victor Akinwale, who managed to get on the ball as it dropped there, but I think it was Omalabu who was offside initially. Dan Quick will pick the ball up again.
Turned into a little training game really, this has. You know, this last 15 minutes or so, it's going to be more us on the front foot, and unfortunately for West Brom, you know, being challenged defensively because we're just so dominant at the minute. It's it really has been, and it takes me back to what I said earlier on about that display in the first half, you know, working these elements and understanding what type of game was needed to take place for them first 45 minutes, and then how destructive we can be. And look at us wanting that 5th goal, you know, smothering the opposition. Very difficult for this West Brom team at the minute.
Here is Reyes Cleary on the edge of the box. His cross just hits his own man and it will go behind for a goal kick. And like you say, I mean, when they came out, Paddy McCarthy and his team and his coaching staff, and they saw the weather this morning, they probably couldn't have hoped to be in a better position than this with 25 minutes to go, where the game is pretty much wrapped up.
Absolutely. You know, you work throughout the week, you've got your formula to try and break the opposition down, and you know, you've got these tactics there which would have been instilled anyway throughout the season, because Paddy and Darren Powell, you know, they've been very, very consistent with their the way of playing. But you see the weather this morning and you'll think, wow, how's that going to challenge the lads? And they've been great. And you know, it's been a good performance in many ways. You know, of course it's not been easy on the eye in certain areas, but it's just been a real dominant performance, and we fully deserve this scoreline at the minute.
Well, West Brom yet to really trouble Joe Whitworth in this second half, and like you say, Crystal Palace more than interested in that 5th goal if they can possibly get it, and it will make it 7 wins on the bounce this for Crystal Palace as Cadogan comes forward. He's got options ahead of him as always. Here's Raksaki, laid off now for Omalabu, and what a finish that is. And David Omalabu gets his 2nd goal of the game, and Palace do have their 5th, and that is just emphatic from Paddy McCarthy's young side going forwards.
Oh, it's a brilliant counter play, it really is. The first pass out of pressure is vitally important, but it's the combination play on the edge of the box that excites me. It's a lovely little kind of like slide pass by Raksaki, and it's that man again, David Omalabu. He loves scoring goals, and he's got his 2nd today. It's been a brilliant, brilliant performance.
Well, that takes him to 20 goals for the season for the under-18s, and that is some style in which to get to that milestone. First time left-footed finish, far too powerful for the keeper to do anything about, and it is Palace 5, West Brom 1.
The These boys in the yellow and green shirts of West Brom knew it was going to be a difficult encounter this morning. Of course they did. They'd only played us a few months ago and we comprehensively beat them, so they'll know it was a difficult side to play. But for us, it's getting the job done and it's scoring good goals, and that's what we've done. We look a real threat on the break. We've controlled the game, and it's now might be an opportunity for 2 or 3 of the other young players to find their way onto the pitch well.
Well, it will be a triple change for Palace, as we see John Kamani-Gordon there. Victor Akinwale has done really well today, got his name on the score sheet, and sent Palace on their way to this 3 points, which surely will be coming. And he will be joined on the pitch by David Ozo and Ademola Adabomi. And if you're a West Brom fan and you're watching, it may be nice to see some of those names going off the pitch, but then 3 really talented youngsters coming into the attack on the pitch, particularly someone you will have worked closely with this season, John Kamani-Gordon, who spent a lot of time with the under-23s.
He has, and he spent some time with us last year as well. People forget about John. John's only that second-year scholar. He's only in his second year at the football club full-time. And he's had some injuries this year, which has been unfortunately for John. But he gets some valuable minutes. He's travelled with us yesterday up to Middlesbrough and didn't get on, but he was very much part of our squad. And again, one of them players that you look forward to working with day in, day out, because you see some real growth in him. He's been challenged this year with injury, and it's just nice to see him back on the pitch.
And taking the place of that attacking trio, as West Brom do come forwards here to see if they can get a consolation goal, but straight into the hands of Whitworth. Yeah, taking the place of Omalabu, Raksaki and Akinwale, and once again today they've just demonstrated when they link up together they can be absolutely lethal going forward.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a real forceful front 3 that we've got. Got a little bit of everything. Got a little pace and power, creativity, but more importantly there's goals in there. And I think at any level, when you're playing and you see in front of you, you've got players like that, it gives you hope to get results out of the game, and we've got more great results than many of the opposition that we've come across this year in the under-18. And David hitting 20 goals for the season, whether the season ends now or it continues into that, into that one-off game against either Man United or Man City, it's been an outstanding season for him.
Perhaps fitting, that all 3 are on the score sheet today, as the ball is hooked away from John Kamani-Gordon and out for a throw. And Palace won't stop here, they'll want a 6th. As Caden Rodney comes across to take the throw in. Half an hour gone in Norwich, still Norwich 0, Fulham 0. And once again, if there is a Fulham goal in the next 10 minutes or so, or indeed a Norwich goal, we will bring that to you. As West Brom break forwards, it's a nice ball, and a chance here for Malcolm on the edge of the box, turning and twisting away from Rodney. His cross is eventually blocked by Sheridan.
Good cover there by Joe. Again, not had a lot to do in this second half, but big Joe Sheridan there has just done a great little block just to stop any kind of second goal going in for West Brom. Wouldn't say they've in any way deserved that second goal because it's been such a dominant display for Palace, but still you've got to be switched on as a defender, and they'll want to not concede that second goal, that's for sure.
And that's excellent centre-forward play, isn't it, from Gordon, just to win the free kick. Eases all the pressure.
Yeah, and he's got that in the locker, hasn't he? He's got that real kind of strength in his game, and he's got touch and technique to go with it, which is important for a centre-forward.
Here is Whitworth, who's so happy to have spells with the ball at his feet, so confident in distributing to teammates further up the pitch. And West Brom have a chance here through Cleary. The shot is blocked initially. It will fall to Malcolm. Support will arrive on the left, but instead he goes infield. And now it's bobbling around there in midfield, but it is picked up by Matt Richards. Palace have forced it all the way back to the substitute, Zach Ashworth, under real pressure from
Does well.
Oluwadabomi.
Does really well.
And look at him running across there to ensure that West Brom have to work to get the ball forwards. They have done it well, and here is Cleary again, and this time he's turned away and can try and make space for the shot. Forced wide well, but Farl is in support. Instead he goes all the way back to Richards. Now Lamb. Out wide. Cadogan is back defending. Now back to Mackenzie Lamb again. Here's Matt Richards. West Brom just slowly building. It's a nice ball into the feet, and there's the first time effort from Reyes Cleary. Another sight of goal.
Yeah, well, that was the best part of the second half for West Brom. The one and only opportunity they've had to have a accumulation of passes and get into our 18-yard box. But just watching Teo there, he just dropped himself into a central area and got himself pinned by the right-sided player for West Brom, but made a decision of staying connected to the forward player and defended really well, and growing game by game, young Teo is.
And Wells Morrison will try and chase that one down and put West Brom under pressure. We should say, although West Brom may have had a disappointing league season, they are into the semi-finals of the FA Youth Cup. They've only ever reached 3 finals in their history. They've got a semi-final against Aston Villa. It'll be the first time since 1976 they get to that final, so that would be an excellent season for them as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the FA Youth Cup's a standout competition as a young player. It's brilliant that they've got so far.
A ball in behind here, and now a chance for Mo Farl to get one across the face of goal. A little heavy for Reyes Cleary, and it's headed clear in the end.
Good little plug there by Aidan Steele. Recognised that his centre-half's come out of his zone and he's just filled in for him. Everything, they're the little things from a midfielder that perhaps too many people don't see. It's that defensive understanding of where you're filling in certain positions, and captain done well there, Aidan.
Well, just a replay here of that battle between Ola Adebomi and the West Brom defenders, and the referee has seen something he didn't like, and a period of treatment here. Yeah, the other semi-finalists, Ipswich, the surprise semi-finalist this year, and then Liverpool. So a real chance for West Brom to end their season on a high, and they've got a decent history in the FA Youth Cup despite not making the final. And to be fair, they were unlucky that their other 2 finals, I mean, one of them was lost to the Busby Babes side, which include Bobby Charlton and Duncan Edwards, so you can't really complain about not getting a result there.
You'll take that as a loss, wouldn't you, against them? But for this particular bunch of players this year, it'll be a standout game for them, and one that they'll look forward to. And unfortunately for them, they'll be going into that game on the back of a pretty heavy defeat, so you hope for them that it's not going to affect them too much.
And it's worth saying for Palace as well, isn't it? Because obviously Palace's FA Youth Cup campaign ended prematurely with that defeat to Fleetwood, but then that could easily have been something which kind of dented the confidence of this team. But I think since then they've only lost 1 game in something like 18 or 19 since, and they've recovered really well from that.
And you know, it's good that you mentioned that, because I went to the game, went all the way up to Fleetwood and watched it, and it was a real disappointing evening for our young players. But what I would say is the response from that low was probably, for me, is everything that you see from this young Palace team now. It's them reacting to disappointment, showing resilience, and actually culminating together and having a brilliant, outstanding season. And of course they wouldn't have wanted to lose against Fleetwood, but on the night they were excellent against us.
Well, just a couple of minutes of normal time to go in Palace's regular league season, and as it stands, they sit top of the pile, still 0-0 between Norwich and Fulham as they approach half-time over there. And just a reminder that, assuming that Palace do hold on for the 3 points here, and I think hold on is a fairly generous term with the 4-goal cushion, but assuming that Palace do get the 3 points here, they'll be 6 points clear, which means that Fulham not only have to win at Norwich today, but then we'll have to go to Chelsea and win next week.
I think there'll be a lot of Palace fans tuning in for that game as well. You know, we've just seen a little break for West Brom. Good reaction there by David Ozu. He's just come on the pitch, perhaps still finding his feet in the game. But no, I was saying, you know, we've a lot of people tune into this channel and watch this young team, and it's been great to have the support of everybody. All the Palace fans joining and continuing to support our young players, and I think we'll see a lot of them tuning into that standout game, which is potentially going to, well, it potentially could bring the title to Crystal Palace.
Well, we'll have fingers crossed for Norwich and Chelsea, two sides that Palace have come up against already this season, and we know how good both of them can be. Hollingshead does well to come out and read that long ball forwards.
Well, whatever happens, me and Paddy will share a beer at the end of the season, and you know, we'll be happy. And obviously, we both want to go that extra step. Both the teams have got both eyes on where we want to go, but it's been a great season for the academy.
Well, we'll see how much added time there'll be at the end here, as Palace just stroke the ball forwards and maybe think about pushing for that 6th goal to end the season on a real high. And it has been a really confident performance. They went 1-0 down early on and then showed real character to score twice in as many minutes. And from that point on, particularly in this second half, when they came out really strongly, they've had the game under complete control. And even now, players battling to win every ball. Here is Caden Rodney on that right-hand side this time. Reyes Cleary will come away with it. He's looking for the return ball, but instead Farl goes back to Mackenzie Lamb. Out to the right-hand side. And Palace have players back in numbers. This time it's a nice flick round the corner. Here is Farl. And now across the substitute Malcolm, and then he receives the ball again. All the way back to Matt Richards. And Lamb again. And Palace just trying to contain West Brom one last time. This time Tayo Adaramola will calmly knock it back to Whitworth, who clears. Adaramola sporting that new shirt after taking one straight in the face earlier on today, and then John Kamani-Gordon does really well to win that free kick.
Both real good little parts of play, different reasons. Tayo used his arm really well in his 1v1 duel, and a good little ball down the line to John, and John connected.
Aidan Steele keen to get on with it quickly, and here comes Adaramola into the box. Pulls the ball back to Kamani-Gordon. It's a really nice turn, and it's a really nice finish. And Palace do end the season on a high. John Kamani-Gordon gets his name on the score sheet. Palace have 6, and what a goal it was.
And I'm delighted for him, I really am. I mean, he made that long trip up to Middlesbrough with us yesterday. Didn't get on the pitch, came back on the train, was on the bench for the team today, and he's made his impact and he's got his goal. And this takes him into the end of the season. Whatever happens for John, he'll be ending his season on a high. And that's fantastic. A real deserved goal for him.
Such composure there, wasn't it, to turn away from the challenge and then step away from the second defender and then leave the goalkeeper sprawling.
I think that just highlights what type of player he is. He uses his body exceptionally well. Little jink inside the box and a bit of a disguise for his finish. And look at him sliding towards the cameraman, as all these young players do nowadays.
Well, they always know where their teammates will be, but they also always know where the cameraman will be.
Instagram will be buzzing later on, Will.
And that really does put the icing on the cake for Crystal Palace. It's a scoreline that their performance has warranted, particularly in this second half. A 5-goal cushion, and maybe even more here as they come forwards again. Adaramola is on the overlap. He does get a chance to get the cross in, but the ball was nicked away from him, and now Palace will have to sprint back. And
look at this, 6-1 up, and it was a brilliant recovery run by about 7 or 8 of our players. That, for me, highlights this team this season. It's that desire that they've got. They really have got talent absolutely aplenty, no doubt about the talent, but their attitude and the determination and the professionalism has been remarkable, and that's testament to the coaches who lead this team. It's been brilliant.
Well, into the 5th minute of stoppage time here at a rainy and windy academy ground, and it was no easy going coming into this one for Crystal Palace. Not only did they know exactly how much this game meant, all that tension before kick-off, but then the elements were against them, particularly in that first half, and they've stayed calm and they've gone about their business as they have done so often this season, and once again they've produced an absolute bag full of goals for everyone to enjoy, and they've taken themselves 6 points clear at the top of the under-18s Premier League South, and then they've thrown the gauntlet down to Fulham. Here is Aidan Steele, maybe looking for a goal himself. Instead he lays it back to Cadogan across the face of goal, and it is 7, and it's deja vu in the most horrible way for West Bromwich Albion, because for the 2nd time against Crystal Palace this season they're on the end of a 7-1 drubbing, and this time it was Ola Adabomi tapping in from just a couple of yards out, and Crystal Palace have made light work of this important game today. They are 7-1 up.
Well, unfortunately for this West Brom team, it's deja vu once again, isn't it? Same scoreline, same dominant performance, and even better, the substitutions. Look at the reaction from our bench. The lads that have come off and really backing each other, and that's just a great sight to see. It really is. 7-1, so destructive in this second half, and it's puts a lot of pressure on that team over in Fulham.
Well, it's not nice, is it, if you're the visiting team and you see Raksaki and Omalabu and Akinwale, they all score, they all go off, and then the 3 substitutes that come on, 2 of them get themselves on the score sheet as well.
It's great, and I could hear Paddy saying to Mola, get in the box. He's done really well to win the ball back, got himself inside the 6-yard box and scored his goal. Fantastic.
Well, that is that. Palace have won the battle. We'll wait to find out whether they'll win the war. The action continues at Fulham, still 0-0 there, but the title is very much up for grabs, and Paddy McCarthy's men have done absolutely all they can. They've dismissed West Brom by 7-1 today. There is the table as it stands. Palace 6 points clear. Fulham currently playing that 23rd game, and then they've got Chelsea next week, but Crystal Palace have done absolutely everything they can this season. It's another strong performance, and we just will hope that it can be rewarded with a trophy at the very end.
Well, fingers crossed Fulham drop the points, and we can hopefully be announced as champions. But whatever happens, it's about developing players, and it's about seeing these young players grow day by day, week by week, performance by performance, and this team gets better, and it's brilliant. We see an academy that's developing around us, a wonderful environment for these young players to grow and develop, and hopefully see some of them in the first team soon.
And we'll look at that. They're all congratulating one another. A job well done for Crystal Palace. Full time here, and Crystal Palace will now await the news from their West London rivals. They are currently top of the league. Crystal Palace 7, West Bromwich Albion 1.